Welcome to the Saturday Sports Line. Since 1969, the premier sports show about local high school sports, featuring coaches, players, and special guests. Now, here is your host of the Saturday Sports Line, Kankakee Valley Broadcasting's WKVI Sports Director, Mitch Columbi, and sports analyst, Chris McGowan.
In victory formation, McLaughlin takes the snap, takes the knee, and that will be the end of the ball game. The Knox Redskins become sectional champions for the third year in a row, 12-0 as they beat Mishawaka Marion. And a good Saturday morning to you, November 9th. 2024, 9 a.m. Eastern, 8 a.m. Central, wherever you are, this is your wake-up call. It's the Saturday Sports Line, and it's the longest-running high school sports show in Indiana. Good morning, Chris McGowan.
Good morning. It's Saturday?
It is, isn't it?
I think so. Yeah, we're good.
Well, I didn't sleep much last night, so it's kind of an extension of Friday night.
Yeah.
Of course, all of our coaches understand that. They're watching a lot of film after last night, figuring out who they're going to play next week.
Yeah, I don't think, it's funny you say that because I don't think people truly understand that most of our coaches, when they walk in here on Saturday morning, are walking zombies because they've maybe had an hour sleep, maybe two.
Which provides really good interviews.
It does.
Well, the Knox Redskins, as you heard the final, they beat Mishawaka Marion last night. 12-0 was the final big win for them. That is their third sectional championship in a row. Our only two teams left are the Knox Redskins and the North Judson-San Blue Jays. So Starr County football, I said it on our social media post last night, they're letting it be known that Starr County football has some of the best football going on in the state of Indiana.
Yeah, there's a lot of success here the last several years, and I tell you what, it's been a lot of fun, and I hope it continues.
North Judson-San Blue Jays beat LaVille 44-18 last night. They will see Taylor next week, and then the Knox Redskins will see Mishawaka Marion.
They played Michigan.
They will see
Garrett.
Garrett, my apologies.
The Railroaders.
Thank you. Yeah, your head's on a swivel there real quick. That was funny. So they beat Mishawaka Marion last night. Boy, this is a crazy morning. We've got a lot scheduled today. We are going to talk with the Stark County girls basketball teams. That's Oregon Davis's Aubrey Lady, also head coach of the Knox Lady Redskins, James Adcock, and head coach of the North Judson-San Pierre Lady Blue Jays. That's Whitney Combs in the second hour. Very excited to start our basketball season, but it's all about football right now. And man, what a great time to have us do the postseason like this. This is a lot of fun, Chris. I mean, not a lot of broadcasting stations can say they broadcast this deep into the postseason on a regular basis.
On a regular basis, but I mean, we're lucky enough. We've got two.
We have two.
Some stations don't even get one, and here we have two that,
it's pretty awesome.
Yeah, it's a nice problem to have, where we're going to be and all that kind of good stuff.
Well, and that raises the great question. A lot of people, where are you going to be? Where are you going to be? Where are you going to be? I can tell you right now where KVB is going to be. We are going to be there for the North Judson-San Pierre Blue Jays and the Knox Redskins. We remind you tirelessly, we have two radio stations here at this company, WYMR Max 98.3 FM and KVB's WKVI, that's 99.3 FM. You got a little taste of that last night. You were able to flip back and forth between both of us as Rusty Nixon and Joe McKee called that great win for the North Judson-San Pierre Blue Jays last night. KVB's got you covered, folks. Just take a break. We don't know exactly which station will be covering which team yet. We're going to get the logistics together because it is an away game for both teams. So stay tuned. KVB will be at both of those games. No problem. I can guarantee that right now.
All right.
So that's what I'm saying.
Yeah. Okay, let's talk Blue Jay football.
Head coach of the North Judson-San Pierre Blue Jays, it's Brett Lambert. Big win last night, Coach. Your fourth sectional championship in a row. How's it feel?
It feels pretty awesome. To get four, that's a special thing. I told the kids after the game that's the first time in school history, and we've been able to do that. For the program, and for our senior class, and they don't know how to lose in the sectionals. I mean, so it's a really, really special thing. And just for us, and we were just talking, off the air here. I mean, this is for the program. It's the seventh sectional championship game in a row. We've won 5 out of the last 6. just to give my coaches a shout out. I mean, since we've taken over these last 6 years, I mean, our record in the sectionals is 17-1. So it's really an awesome thing. And again, last night it was fun. Definitely got some pushback from LaVille for sure. I mean, we got on them early. But we had to fight for it, and we had to fight for it all night. And, it was really a 4-quarter tough physical football game. And, Coach Kaiser had those guys prepared like we knew he would, and, gave us some different things defensively that gave us a little bit of – it didn't really give us fits, but just gave us something to, think about, as we were on the sideline as coaches, just some different fronts and stuff, made us work. But all in all, I was just really pleased with how we came out and executed last night. And, just from the opening kickoff, we got the ball first, and, they had us the very first, set of downs there. They had us in a 4th-and-1 situation. And of course, we went for it and, got it. And then, we were fighting, and then they got us pinned back. There was a penalty, and I'm thinking, oh gosh, this is getting similar to the first game. We had a holding penalty, but the very next play, Wilcox had a 50-yard run. Then I think the play after that, Jesiah had like a 20-yard touchdown run, and we were really rolling pretty good. I mean, we were fighting for all the yards we got and everything. But at halftime, it ended up 32-0. But they came out fighting. LaVille came out fighting in the second half, and I wouldn't say they made it a game, but it was competitive. And we, I think our kids maybe at halftime, maybe were thinking to themselves, and they weren't saying it, and I didn't see their body action saying it, but just the way they came out after halftime, it kind of looked like in their minds it was like, oh, these guys are just going to be done, just like maybe some other teams we played this year, and LaVille came out, hitting us hard in the second half. But all in all, if you get a 44 to 18 victory or whatever it ended up being, you're going to be happy with that in a sectional championship. And I've told you guys before, I knew back at the beginning when the alignment came out that we're going to have to beat LaVille, and that was going to be a tough victory, and that's what ended up happening. So again, 4 in a row. It feels good, but now the next thing we're going to try to get that 4 in a row for the regionals.
We've talked about this before. And a lot of high schools go years and years without getting a single sectional championship. And you've kind of said it. You don't want the fans to get accustomed to the fact of, well, we'll just show up in the regional, we'll just show up in the semi-state, because they're getting used to the fact you're winning on a regular basis. It's almost like we need to sit back and take a deep breath here and realize what is actually being done here. 4 in a row, Coach. That's impressive.
Well, and I kind of said, after the game was over last night, and we had the players gathered around. Of course, we had fans gathered around, the student body and all that. I was kind of trying to say that a little bit. It's like, guys, we can be excited, because it's like in 2019 when we won, like we didn't know what that season was even going to be. So it was such a special thing for that group to win a sectional. And at that point, we really didn't have the high expectations to win a regional. So when we won sectionals, it was like, oh man, this is awesome. And the excitement that we felt, I'll never forget it. Last night, it was just kind of like, okay, well, let's go to the next one next week.
Who's next?
So that's a good thing. It's a good thing, but and just talking to my wife last night, just like, gosh, you got to cherish all these moments. I mean,
right?
Because we went 15 years without winning one. We went from 2004 to 2019 without winning one. Then last night, just like the seniors, like, okay, well, we did this again. And then you start thinking about it though, to get serious with it. It's just we think we can keep doing this. We feel like our program is in a good space, but it's not guaranteed. So then you start thinking about, hey, there might be a freshman standing out here right now. He's going to have to fight to get one next year or the year after. So you can't guarantee this stuff is going to happen every year. We hope it does, and we're going to keep lifting weights in the off season like it will. But you just don't know. But long story short, we did it, and we're happy with where we're at. But we got a lot more we want to accomplish.
Yeah, I just, being an alum from North Judson-San Pierre High School, I mean, it just, my thoughts going into the week were, back to 1991 in LaVille. I think I don't know if we were ranked number 1 in the state back in 91. I know we were in the top 2 or 3, and LaVille come to town and put a hurting on us. again, that's where my thoughts were all week, just having lived it. But again, 4 in a row, having played for 7 in a row. I mean, that's just awesome. And these seniors can truly be called the quad squad. I mean, we had that in basketball, but this senior class, this group, and you're talking about a group of kids that have contributed all 4 years. Go through your seniors if you would.
All right, you're going to put me on the spot here. I didn't bring my roster.
Yeah, you didn't bring your roster. Here we go.
So we got, Jesiah, obviously, at quarterback, and then, Wilcox. You got Brock Benson, so they got those guys in the backfield. You got Trey McGowan, and, Trey was here for 3 of these because he came over, when his dad got a job over here. So, he's been a part of this. Braden Staten, as a receiver. And then on the line, you have, of course, Cozy Carr, and you got Tegan Hampton, you got Harley Boggs. I think I got all 8 there. I think hopefully it had to be 8. That was 8, right? Okay.
Yeah.
Gosh darn, why are you doing that to me? I forgot my roster today. But no, those guys have been a part of it, and it's just been that's a great group of not just football players, but just individuals, and it's just fun to be around those guys. And again, it's a special thing. And with this group, and just. I'm going to throw out a few stats here, and I know this stuff doesn't mean it all, but it's just, I pay attention to stuff every once in a while. Every few weeks I'll look at it. So last night, we went over for the season. I think we're about 4,750, so about over 4,700 yards rushing for the season. So that broke the school record from the 1980 team.
Wow.
And then for total yards, we're over 5,400 yards. That broke the school record from the 1985 team. And then we set the single-season scoring record last night. We actually set that 2 years ago, but we broke that record last night. So, we did some really, I guess, we've done some great things this year. And a lot of those things, are those, stats. I mean, we're talking about playing, 15 to 20 plays of offense in a half, and we're doing that. So, but that wasn't the case last night. We ran 66 plays of offense.
Wow.
That 66 plays is about as much as we ran probably the last 4 games put together. So it was really, I thought that it was good for us to be able to do that, and not, we weren't getting, Wilcox had a big run, but otherwise it was just a lot of grinding out yards, 4, 5, 6 yards a carry, and we did it. And we had. We pretty much had 3 guys at 100 yards, at least 100 yards rushing last night with Wilcox, Benson, and Jesiah. Brock had 27 carries, 156 yards, 3 touchdowns. I really thought he was just a workhorse for us. And he hasn't had to a lot of games, and that's probably a good thing, because it's hard to get the ball 27 times in a game. And so if you do that every game, which he had to do a little bit more of last year, that can wear on your body. So these last few games, he probably only had 7 or 8 carries in the last 2 games. But this one, we needed them, and it was awesome. And he got it done. So just these guys, we got a group of guys who they're not selfish. That they know that what the team does is most important. But it's also nice to see them have some success, which they have.
You talk about Brock Benson. 27 handoffs last night at the fullback position. And then he turns around, he's playing inside linebacker.
Yeah, he's calling the defense.
So he's taking punishment on every single snap.
Absolutely. And for those guys, and you could tell, in the fourth quarter, we looked a little winded at times. So I think it was good for us to get back into having to play a full game. We pretty much did against Pioneer a few weeks back, even though the score is a little lopsided at the end. We had to play a full game then, and we need that. So I was... you want to win every game,
right?
60-0, of course you do. But it was kind of nice to, because of just being realistic, that's not going to happen. At least I hope it does, but it's not going to happen as we go through the rest of the playoffs. So just to show that we can grind was awesome. It was a great thing. And then again, the coaches had to coach. We had a little adversity, with them, fighting back in the second half. So we had to be on it. There was probably a little yelling going on the sideline at each other, coaches yelling at each other. And heck, I don't think I was even involved in it, which was kind of nice. So it was just a fun thing. And, that's what you do. You got to get through tough situations. And we were able to do that last night.
All right. So, probably told the kids, hey, enjoy this tonight. But 8 o'clock in the morning, we're getting ready for Taylor. What do you know about
9 o'clock? At 9 o'clock in the morning. So I'm talking to you guys right now. So I got to get.
But hey, they're listening right now. So I guess they can enjoy it at 9.
I hope
we'll
they're
give them
listening.
that.
I hope they're listening.
So what do you know about Taylor?
I mean, not a bunch. I saw a little bit on them early in the year. I was just, messing around one week and probably watched too many other teams, and Taylor came across as a team that we saw. And then last night we watched some of their Pioneer game, and we're really going to break it down more, of course, today and this weekend. That they didn't have the greatest season, but they're hot right now.
Right.
And that's what matters the most. I know they had some injuries during the year, so they got a couple guys back, probably their best skill position guys back. So he could give us some fits. He gave, I know he gave Winnemac some trouble, and then Pioneer a little bit. But Pioneer moved the ball on him. Just watching that game last night, if you watch the first half, I told you, Chris, off the air, that if you watch the first half, if you didn't know what the score was, but you just kind of watched it, you would have thought that Pioneer was up 22-0 at halftime. And they were up 6-0, but 6-0 wasn't enough. 22-0 would have been nice for him. So Taylor ended up coming back the second half and just getting it done. Again, we're going over there, and like usual, it's all about us, and we're going to game plan for Taylor, but we're also game plan to make sure we're putting our guys in the best position. We're going to take that, whatever it is, hour and a half, hour 45 bus ride over there and see what happens. I've been there before. When I came back to coaching as an assistant, I was with Ted when Ted White was the coach his last year in 2018. We had a summer scrimmage there. AJ Grzinko, who's now at Hanover. Well, AJ was over at Taylor, so we scrimmaged Taylor. So we were over there. I think if I remember right, it's a turf field, so we're going to be on turf. And that's a school that doesn't have a lot of winning tradition. This might have been their first sectional championship. Don't quote me on that, but I think this was their first one. So I'm sure they're really excited about what's going on there. But we just got to go in and show up and do what we do and play great defense, control the clock, move the ball and obviously get in the end zone and limit the turnovers. I think we'll be all right.
You're exactly right. I've gone back through the list on John Harrell all the way back to 1994. Taylor has not won a sectional championship. The last time they were in a sectional championship game was 2006.
Yeah, so
it's a special year for them.
Absolutely. So again, they're flying high right now. So our guys got to understand that. I mean, they got to understand these guys are going to be pumped up, ready to go, and they're hot right now. And the best way to put an end to that is hit them right in the face. You show up, hit them right in the face, be sound on defense, and get it done. Again, we got one game guaranteed right now, and the most games we could have is 3. So that's where we're at in the season. And we've been in this position the last few years. But now we got to just focus up like we have in the past.
Yeah, at this point, you can't look at the regular season. Every team playing in the regional and Class 1A 3-0 at this point.
Yeah.
So everybody's undefeated right now. So again, Again, I sit here and I'm just in awe of how spoiled we are as broadcasters. Judson's won 4 in a row. Knox has won 3 in a row. That's 7 sectional championships
in the same county.
In the same county between 2 schools. It's just amazing.
And then also on top of it, the expectations. Everyone knows what the expectations are. I mean, you guys even coined the term Liberty to Lucas. I mean, everyone knows the expectations. You guys are still showing up each week, and knowing that in the background, knowing that the word is out. We plan to do this. We have these expectations, and you're taking care of the sectionals. Now you're into regionals. How do you deal with that? Maybe as a player and also a coach, how do you deal with the expectations?
Well, I think first of all, you set the expectation. I think, and if you do that early, and if the kids know that's always the expectation, I think that kind of gets it out of the way because it's Liberty to Lucas. I mean, our goal is to win a state championship. So get that out of the way get in June, or just make that a program thing. Because you'll hear there might be some community members like, well, that's cocky of him. What is your expectation? Do your expectations not to go to Lucas? I mean, think about that for a second. Because if that's your expectation, well, I don't want you in the stands. If you don't think we're going to go to Lucas, so you got to think about that.
Right.
So, do you have a winning championship mindset, or do you just have we'll just see how this goes? And no. And if you don't get there, well, guess what? We still set our expectation to get there. We set our goals high. If you go into algebra class, you're going in there, well, I think I'm going to get a C. That sounds good. So that's like saying you're going to lose in sectionals, I guess. So what is your expectation as a student? Hopefully to be an A+ student. Hopefully to be the best you can be. What's our expectation of the football team? Be the best darn football team in the state.
Yeah.
What's your expectation in the weight room in the offseason? To be as strong as my body will physically allow me to be. That should be your expectation. And that our kids take that serious. Look at our kids. Look what they do in the weight room. Look what they do. I feel like in the classroom since we've taken over, I mean, the grade checks were rough the first couple seasons. And it was just like, God, we're just begging kids to get stuff turned in so we can have people get D's. And now I'm looking at, looking in the grade checks, and these kids are getting A's and B's and might be some C's,
wow.
but we're not worrying about, things like that anymore because of the expectation and what these kids want to accomplish. So yeah, the Liberty to Lucas and all that it's awesome, but we get back to my original point. We get that out of the way early. This is our goal. But now, how do we get there? Well, it's Taylor. Last week it was LaVille. There's no looking ahead, because here's the thing too, guys. 1A's wacky.
Oh.
So not to talk about these other teams, but if anybody was thinking 3 or 4 weeks ago, maybe Carroll, or maybe it could be Pioneer, or
look what
could be Madison Grant, could be this. Okay, so they're all gone, but guess who's still there? We're still there. So we have to just focus on us, because we don't know who's going to be there next week, and it doesn't matter, because if we don't take care of Taylor on the road, we're not going to be there. Okay, so that is, I guess that's the mindset that we have, and I'm always going to set the goals as high as we can get them, because if you set it too low, it's kind of like the 2019 team. And that team didn't have the talent, because we lost to Lafayette Central Catholic. They ended up winning state. We lost them in the regionals. But our goal that year was a realistic one. It was to win a sectional. But we did it. That was our goal from when I took over the program in that January of 2019 until November. Our goal was to win a sectional, no matter how we could do it, because I knew that was probably realistic. And I didn't know if that was realistic at the time, to be honest with you. But we did it. So I guess there's a little bit of the mindset of how I think, and again, if Liberty to Lucas, it's going to be like that every year. It's not just this year.
Right. Sure.
It's going to be Liberty to Lucas next year. Okay, it's going to be like that the year after. As long as I'm the coach, Liberty to Lucas is going to stick. And again, if people think that's being cocky or too confident, well, then we have different expectations of Blue Jay football.
You mentioned the quirkiness of Class 1A. Even in the South last night, I mean, Milan beat North Davies, and then North Davies was a team I actually thought
would make North Decatur.
North Decatur. North Decatur. And North Decatur was a team I actually thought would be at Lucas Oil. And Milan upset them last night. Sheridan, who's gone through, you want to talk about peaks and valleys this year, they take care of the sectional last night, beating Cloverdale. So, again, it's just that time of year where, hey, you start playing good football and good things happen.
And then on top of it all, they're going to play their best game against you, whoever you play, because they're going to bring their best against the Blue Jays. They know what you guys have planned. I mean, think about that. Night in and night out, you're probably getting the best version of that team each time you face them, whoever that may be.
Yeah, there's definitely a bullseye on the back having that number 1 in front of your name.
Yeah, I mean, we've seen that all year. But you're almost getting to the point now where you just know, like, it's the regional, it's the semi-state, it's the state. So I mean, those are the bullseyes as much as anything. Mm-hmm. But yeah, we still got the bullseye, and again, we've had it all year. We're used to it. We're fine with that. We just gotta, like you said, just keep on executing, keep, knowing what the goal is ultimately. But how do you get there? You get there by beating Taylor, because you're not winning 3 games this week. You got to win 1 game, go 1-0, then you think about the next one after that. And we've done a great job all year. We got to keep it up. And I'm proud of these guys because it is a lot of pressure to be pretty much number 1 in the state all year, and to have expectations and everything that we have. There is pressure there, but I think they've handled it very well, and then they just need to keep doing it. I mean, again, it's all about Taylor.
Do we have a start time for Friday?
Bill Belichick on to Cincinnati.
I want to say it's 7, which would be Central Time, 8 Eastern. I think that's how it's going to be done. Don't quote me on that because it could be 6:30, 7:30, so Central Eastern. But I think it's going to be 7. But again, that's not my pay grade.
Right.
So
a little bit of
frustration.
A lot of logistics.
Yeah, a little above your pay grade there.
If they tell us it's at noon, we'll be there. If it's midnight, we'll be there. Whatever time we're going to show up and play Blue Jay football.
Well, Coach, I appreciate you coming in. Congratulations on your 4th sectional championship in a row, and good luck this coming week for another regional championship.
Thank you, guys. And again, Stark County football, it's an awesome thing. It's fun. There's some good kids on, obviously on North Judson. I love the kids on our team, but there's some good kids on the Knox team too. It's hard to admit that sometimes.
10 weeks later.
I tell you what, hey, but here you're looking at a guy right here that has been on both sides. I was a long time coach at North Judson. I was the head football coach at Knox, and I have had people ask me, "What's the difference?" There's no difference in the kids. There's no difference between a Knox kid and a North Judson kid. And I'm going to say this, it's expectation. And Knox is now getting to the point where this is expected. What they're doing now is what it's becoming expected now. And so they're getting to that point. And that to me, that's the difference. There's no difference between a Knox kid and a Judson kid. They're the same moxie, the same grit, same
They're all
determination. You would go there.
Well, how many Minixes are there in this county?
Oh, my goodness.
Gosh.
Now, hey, you're going to get yourself in trouble, so you better be quiet.
There's a lot of Radtkes. There's Radtkes on both teams. I mean, it's a family here in Stark County, and they put their foot down last night and let everybody know they know what they're doing when it comes to playing football here.
That's right. Amen, brother.
Well, Coach, thanks so much for coming in. We'll talk to you next week about a big Blue Jay win.
All right. Thank you, guys, and take care.
All right. That is head coach of the North Judson-San Pierre Blue Jays. It's Brett Lambert here on the Saturday Sports Line. We're going to take a break and come back. We will talk Knox Redskin football with head coach Russ Radtke. That's next. And we are underway. It is a full kick deep back to the 19, bounces. That is where Isaac Singleton will pick it up to the 25, now to the 30, now to the 35, and he's brought down to the 36. Horse collar tackle by number 99, Caleb Johnson. Flag flies. They get to the 31, and off the assessed penalty, they're going to get great field position.
Right about midfield.
4th and 4 out of the gun, Miles McLaughlin. 4th and 4 out of the gun, Miles McLaughlin. Conroy to his left. They draw Knight off sides with the hard count. From shotgun, McLaughlin takes the snap. Quarterback keep up the middle. There he gets to the 20. Now to the 15. Still on his feet to the 10. Takes the snap. Hands off to Conroy. Here he comes. Cuts back up the middle. Still on his feet. And he gets to the 2. Next play, takes the snap. Oh, nice juke move, and Miles McLaughlin gets into the end zone. It will be a Knox Redskin touchdown. What'd you see, Chris? Out of the gun, Fimble takes the snap. Here come the Redskins. He's going to have to roll out of the pocket, and he's going to bring him down to the backfield at the 25. A huge loss. Big-time tackle. That is number 27, Hunter Anderson.
Hunter Anderson.
Out of the gun, Fimble takes the snap, looking to throw, fires. Oh, batted out of the air by Jake Conroy. What a defensive play. They tried to find Terrence Lane. He almost had it. And Jake Conroy bats it out of the air. Takes the snap, hands off to Conroy, fumble on the play. Knights pounce on it. Now the ball's loose. We'll see who picks it up. The Knights say they have it. They do.
And they do.
The Stark County Co-op has been a member-owned farm services co-op in Stark County since 1928.
That's over 90 years, and they're still providing the same quality agronomy services to the farming community of Stark and surrounding counties. The Stark County Co-op is an LP and fuel provider. The Stark County Co-op purchases grain at both locations, Hamlet and Browns. You can reach them by phone at 1-800-782-3392, the Stark County Co-op. One of our hometown businesses here in our area in Monterey, it's LAP Waste.
Being able to recycle is one of our main goals at LAP Waste. Being able to say that we only take about 8% of our trash to the dump is pretty impressive for us, and we hope to keep building on that.
We service an 80-mile circle from Monterey. If you have a small job, big job, or just have a one-time, we are here to make a difference in this area.
And that phone number, Kirby?
574-542-4019.
Stay tuned for more sports talk with Mitch Columbi and Chris McGowan on the longest running high school sports show in Indiana, the Saturday Sports Line.
Coke Zero is now Coke Zero Sugar with great Coke taste. Some people were excited to hear the news. Some were skeptical. So we're not going to have the star of the show you're watching come out and say, "You'll love it." No special jingle written by this week's hottest pop star. No famous internet celebs who happen to be holding the label just so. Okay, maybe just one little pour shot. The only thing that will make you believe Coke Zero Sugar has great Coke taste is trying it yourself. Ice cold Coke Zero Sugar. Try one today.
At First Farmers Bank and Trust, agriculture has been a cornerstone of our business for more than 135 years. Our personal relationships within the ag community run deep for multiple generations. If you're looking for a financial partner that knows, understands, and supports agriculture, I'd love to hear from you. I'm Isaac Blue, ag banker at First Farmers. Come into our Knox, North Judson, or Culver branches, or visit us online at ffbt.com when you're ready to talk about growing your operation. First Farmers Bank and Trust, member FDIC, equal opportunity lender.
Listen for more insight in local high school sports on the Saturday Sports Line. Here's your sports director, Mitch Columbi.
Takes the snap on 3rd and 6, steps back, looks to throw deep, pass play down the middle. Ashton Walker will intercept it at the 10. Here he comes, near sideline, 15 to the 20, and he'll slide.
Back from the Pulaski Memorial Hospital studios, this is the Saturday Sports Line. It's time to talk Knox Redskin football as they beat Mishawaka-Marion 12-0. Man, Coach, all the scoring happened in the first half. The second half was a defensive battle. What'd you see on the field?
Well, you know, we had an offensive coaches, Hard Rock, Coco, and Joe. They got that were upset as heck because I kind of put the reins on them to hold them back because as long as we've got the ball, they're not going to score. And so we felt that second half, that if we can control the ball and stay at least a touchdown ahead, we're going to be in good shape. If we have to open it up, we'll open it up when it goes. And so it great defense. You know, I mean, the kids just fantastic hitting and ability to keep people in front of you. Just bend, and all of a sudden you get back there. It's a lot easier to defend when the ball gets to the 30 or whatever, and that back of that end zone is a lot different than when you're out there at the other 20 and there's 80-some yards behind you.
Right.
And a lot of people don't realize that it's harder to play defense than out there in those situations with teams that can just hit you from anywhere. You know, they can pop you with a play with their formations and everything that they have, that it's easier to just keep them in front of you. Keep them in front of you. You know, we always say it's like shoeing the chickens, you know. If you go into that chicken coop and you decide you're going to and then you got them running everywhere, okay? You got to shoo them into the corner. Nice and slow. Get them there. Then, boom, you hook that one you want. So we did that last time. We got 3 interceptions. And it was a result of a tremendous effort on both sides. And like I said, you look at our stats and, you know, only getting 300 yards of offense is something everybody's like, what the heck is going on, you know? Well, that's all right. Be hungry. We'll let you have that opportunity last week. You know, last week you scored a 66 because that was a little bit different how they were running theirs. And right now you just got to win. That's just all there is to it. It doesn't matter if you win by 2 points or 60. You know, you got to put the importance of what is happening in that game at that time.
Well, yeah, and I said that last night. To me, I think the greatest thing last night, I mean, other than the defense, and we named the defense the Tyler Roth player of the game, the entire
Ashley
defense.
Derrickson 5-star player.
Ashley Derrickson, my bad. It's been a long night.
Got a lot of awards.
It's been a long night. But to me, the patience on offense, and you could tell that was part of the game plan, that you were going to be okay with 3 or 4 yards, because I think, you needed last night the time of possession to be 2-1 in your favor, and not like it was last week, 2-1 in the other team's favor, because, an offense like Mishawaka Marion has, your best defense is to keep them off the field.
And we had scouted them as early as the second game of the year already, only because they played CMA. And as a result of what you see out there, like, wow, it's the same. Hey, here's our roster. It don't look too bad, does it?
Right. And then you look at their roster, and it's
Well, here's their roster.
It's like 5 pages.
2 pages long. 77 guys.
Right.
And I said it on
22 seniors. 16 coaches. I don't even know how I could talk to 16 coaches.
Well, that would be interesting. That would be a show in itself.
16 coaches, 2 Greyhound
buses,
charter buses,
yeah,
and players on their team that are 6'9", 297s.
Well, and I don't mean any
6'9",
right?
Yeah,
6'9".
Yeah, he's a junior.
Yeah. Well, here's the other thing too. I don't mean being down on the field and being able to, the access that I get.
Correct.
You're lucky.
Yeah. You talk about those 16 coaches. I kind of felt bad for their quarterback last night, because it seemed like every time he's going over the sideline, he had 4 or 5 different coaches telling him 4 or 5 different things on every snap. And I don't know how
he keeps it straight.
As a player, how do you keep that straight?
Because they have a quarterback coach, they have a receiver coach.
I think they had like 10 quarterback coaches last night.
It definitely we put some things in on defense too that we had used before, different blitz packages and schemes that came in. Noah Bowen was able to do some great things and led us in tackles. And Dixon, who we put in now on our defensive line, if he could get one-on-one blocking, Triska, who has to play both ways, but if he can get a double team on him, if he forces a double team on him, that leaves Dixon with one guy against him. And if Dixon does or whatever, or any of our other linebackers, we'll give an assist to a guy that's getting double teamed, that's forcing the result of how the other ones do it. And sometimes that's hard for some players to understand it, but these 6 seniors that we have really come out of nowhere of being able to attain things that at the beginning of the year we were not ready yet. Some of them just could not play or do things in the aspects that we had, and nothing against it, but that, when you play your opponents, and the ones that we have played are fantastic, and then the opponent can provide knowledge of how you got to change, it works well. But I can still remember the offensive coaches at the beginning of the game now. They were, we need some of those 11, 12 play drives and getting 3 or 4 yards at a shot. Well, then all of a sudden they're chomping at the bit, wanting to be let wide open, and they know, well, we can do this, we can do that. I go, yeah, but you're going to put the ball back in their hands.
Right.
Let's wait and see what has to happen.
Yeah, like I said, the discipline on the offensive side of the ball last night I thought was very key in you guys being successful. And then, the defense, like you said, it's hard to defend athletes like that, when they've got 80 yards, when you got 80 yards behind you that you have to defend.
And then the schemes of how we rotated that defensive secondary. We called them in at 3:20 yesterday before the game. The defense had a meeting, and we had 9 pages of things that we needed to go over. And, like youth and young kids all the time, sometimes you can't get their minds on the right thing all week long.
Right.
So we provided that opportunity for them yesterday, and I thought they really bought into it. So you brought up some great things there of how you have to do that. And when you're in the stands, you might not see it. But when you're out there on that field and see how those things can take place, and what the coordinators, Bryan and Steve do a great job with Julio, and they come up with things, adjustments all the time that work, I think.
Two things I wanted to bring up. First was, you've said in the past how important it is the defense is able to cause turnovers. You caused 3 last night, as you brought up. And then also that play where it was a lateral that was dropped, you guys would have picked it up and took it to the house. They called the play dead. From your vantage point, was that a fumble?
Well, you got to remember, where the quarterback is at a gun, it kind of depends how far back he is. But because of the pressure of our defense, I felt that receiver bubbled back far enough, and it was thrown behind him.
Right.
It's almost got to be a lateral.
Yeah.
But he's got the viewpoint, and we gave our ideas, but it didn't work. He was disciplined enough, and that's why you have officials that made a call right away. It's not one of those, pick it up, score a touchdown, come back, we'll think about it and see what it is. He said right now, boom, incomplete. He felt that the ball was not a backward, a lateral in his assignment. Those are all. But our guys picked it up and were ready to go with it.
Yeah.
But he'd already blown the whistle, and the reaction had to come from that. So that's a good point. That's a good point. I think a few seconds or a few plays later, we made a big interception.
Yeah.
And it'd been good to have that touchdown. But we made a big interception down there in the end zone. Ashton made one, and
McLaughlin had 2.
Well, McLaughlin had one that he probably had a little adrenaline flowing, because right there in the fourth quarter, we're trying to run it out, and he fumbles a direct snap trying to get to a hole and gave them the ball.
Right.
With about 4 minutes to go, wasn't it?
Right.
Whatever.
Yeah.
And he didn't come to the sidelines for me to find out how or why it took place, He immediately went into the defense, saw the defense, got the read. He had a motion guy coming. He remembered when the motion comes this direction, drop into the hook zone, and I'll be darned, that quarterback threw it right in that hook zone, and he picked it off.
That's what you were practicing this week.
Well, that's and he's got to count on Bowen or our defensive ends, Anderson and Minix, doing their job. Everybody's got to click to try to force that ball, because when you see pressure, you throw it where it's coming from. If you turn and try to throw it the other way, you're going to get nailed, and somebody's already playing defense over there. So to get kids to understand that you have to do the proper thing, that he is going to throw it. He is not going to want to take a sack right there. And so he knew where his receiver was according to what their motion or whatever. I'm trying to give you the whole explanation.
Right.
So you got to, because otherwise you think, well, you'll come flying up, take the motion, be on that man, then that window's wide open.
But he didn't.
And he didn't. And I tell you what, you want to talk about climbing a ladder.
He skied high
for that. For that interception,
like
because the quarterback tried throwing it over him, but he jumped up, and he had to have at least a 36-inch vertical leap on that interception. I mean, it was unbelievable.
I'll go 35 maybe, but he's not the tallest guy in the world. But
but he climbed the ladder, that's for sure.
But the important thing, and I think that all these guys are getting better at, is we're going to listen, and if it's wrong, let the coach lose the game. We're going to do what he's told, because it's hard to think, why do I want to go there if I don't see that? But if you know what's happening in the front of you, trust in all the schemes that are getting put in, he'll put it right where we count it. And then, like you said, Miles picked one off in the other corner of the end zone, because now he's in man coverage and he's chasing a guy all the way through. And I think that was a 3rd or 4th down also that we had done.
Yep.
And when Ashton came across, you could see his eyes. He knew exactly what he was going to do. He ended up being a free, came across the field, picked that one off right in the middle where they were throwing it to their number 1 receiver.
That was right before halftime.
Right before halftime.
And he almost had a second one later on.
Yeah.
They called it out of bounds.
Right, yeah. And he came up with the ball and showed it to him.
Yeah.
They said he was out of bounds.
From my viewpoint, I thought he was in bounds.
I thought it was too.
Even though it was on the other side of the field.
Right. Well, and Ashton Walker, we haven't really talked about him much, but he's kind of turned into, I said it on the air, he's a ball hawk. He's a player.
Ashton Walker started the season out. Remember, we only have 3 guys on defense that are seniors, and he's a sophomore. And he has really, and I keep trying to instill upon them, they all have to act like seniors right now. They all have to act like they're going to do what their responsibility is. And, of course, he made some mistakes. And you come right down to it, that CMA game is ours. It's 4th down at the goal line. And he waited 1 second late. He's there, and that quarterback drilled one right underneath him through the linebackers. And but he's there. Today, I think a lot of our guys will be there, like Isaac and other people that are playing in our secondary, who are all going to feel better about who they are. And that's a tough thing. Because, last night, we're playing Mishawaka Marion, like I said, a Catholic school out of Mishawaka. We played them when I was at North Judson, and we had beaten them 12-9. And we had to have David Hall. I think most people have heard about David Hall, who had to play offense and then had to defend Coach Barron at that time all over the field, every direction, into motion and whatever, and he did a great job. Well, last night, Jake Conroy had that same thing. He had to play offense, but on defense, he was locked on that jersey number 1 all night long and knew that his coverage would take away what was necessary, and I think we kept him only like two receptions, and those were ones that were in front of us, not behind us.
Well, now you get ready for Garrett, and that's who you'll see this coming week for a regional championship. Congratulations on 3 sectional championships in a row, by the way, Coach. That's quite an impressive performance.
Well, I'm not sure if they've reached it yet, but this group of 6 seniors, and I told you this a few weeks ago, they may have attained it already. They might be the winningest group of seniors in the history of the school in their 4 years of the amount of games that they've won and been a part of. So we'll have we haven't had enough chance to work on this. I think the game's about an hour and a half from here. It's over by Fort Wayne. It's easy to get to, though. You go to Fort Wayne on 30 and then just go north about 15 miles and you're there. So it's not like you're driving out through the wilderness to North Newton or something like that, okay? It's something that we want really our crowd to get there for. And you're not covering us, are you?
We are covering you guys.
Gosh,
we're covering both of the Blue Jays and the Redskins.
Okay. I was just trying to get some more fans there. You can bring a radio. Don't we have these transistor radios anymore where you can bring a radio and still listen to you?
Yeah.
Okay.
Absolutely.
I want people to get there. I want people to realize how important.
He wants people in the stands. He doesn't want people to stay home and listen to us.
I understand.
Yeah. Okay.
Well, if you don't want us to cover you, we don't have to.
Hey, it's always good to have coverage at any point.
Be careful what you say. I'm just going to give you a heads up.
The fans might be after you, though, Coach. I'll just say that right now. They may come after you.
Well, good. Get over there and come after me at the game.
There you go.
All right. I think there's a politician that people have been after in the last few months. So if you want to come after me the same way, that's all right. And I'll be out there, but I won't have a plastic gun case of protection in front of me or anything like that, okay?
Yeah.
But we
plexiglass.
It's all important that they really realize that these young kids look behind them. They actually see what's in that stands, and they really see that. And we've had good support. Don't get me wrong. I don't know what situations are at different times during the season, but once you hit this regional level, we had just a big crowd as West Lafayette had last year, okay? And when we hit down to that semi-state in the University of Indianapolis Chittard, we had a great crowd there too. So all those things will go together. I'm sure people will be there and want to find out exactly how far and how it's going to be a battle. This team's undefeated.
Yeah, I was about to say, do you know anything about them?
Well, they're undefeated. They beat the same team twice, which is West Noble, and West Noble's only losses are to them. And I think the last night's game was 21-20, so I don't know who went for what at what time in the ball game, but they definitely are going to create an atmosphere that we have to readjust to and realize we're playing an attitude. we're winners. They know that they're winners, and we got to go in there and take their best stuff away from them and give us an opportunity to do the best things we can.
Anything that you think the Redskins need to tighten up on this week?
Well, I would say that we were down a few days this week where we had a lot of illness, okay? We had the colds and the flus and whatever else it was. So we're out a player here 1 or 2 days, And this included our swatters. And I call them swatters. That's not a derogatory. But those guys have to exemplify the opponent's offenses and defense. And on Tuesday, we didn't have enough there to illustrate this wide-open offense of Marion. So that might be my fault, too. Our defense did not practice on Tuesday. That's not good. And as a result of that, it may have carried over a little bit during the week till we got them refocused for Friday night.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So then you're going to do things a little differently this week because of that.
Oh, we'll definitely. I think it's one of those where you get it for 2 or 3 days and then you're back. So I think that we've had just about everybody in the world going through it. We try to instill in them, get your vitamins, get your liquids, make sure that you stay healthy, do the best things you can. You're only down to 25 days left possibly in the season to the state championship. And if you want a shot at it, we're trying to make these kids hungry.
Wow. Coach, if you had a message, you kind of mentioned it a little bit, but if you had a message to Knox Redskin Nation right now in hopes they do make the travels, what are you telling them?
Well, the importance, it's like today. Our band is down there getting ready to perform
state championship
in Lucas Stadium.
Yeah.
And they stayed overnight and slept in the gym and everything so they could come to the game and still get up this morning early and haul all their equipment and get down there. I just say again that, hey, is it Blue Jays on the road too, aren't they?
Yeah. Yes, sir.
All right, so what's there to do?
Yeah.
So get out of here and get down, either heading down 31 south of Kokomo or you're heading 30 out to Fort Wayne. And let's see if both schools can have an opportunity to come back in here with them home. Could be a possibility that both teams could have some games, but you can't talk about that right now. Both of us have 8. There's 8 left. You started with 64. To get to that magical 8 after 4 weeks is just phenomenal.
Why do you love this so much?
I just feel that as long as the knowledge of importance of the request of our young kids and how well they work together, it comes out the right way,
You must enjoy it.
Well, I had a birthday Thursday, too, and everything was going fine until we had our big meal, and they decided they were going to sing happy birthday to me.
You said you turned 37, right?
37, exactly right.
Yeah,
I was 38 last year and 37 this year. So that way my grandchildren always wonder, well, my dad's older than you. I go, well, you got to talk to him about that. I have no idea what's going on, okay? But we really instill the ideas, the opportunity. Things are going fast, and the way I talk to you and how fast I talk on here is what we do in practices, and the way we truly try to instill on these kids that you never know what the next play is going to be, and how you have to be ready and not just walk around and think that things are going to happen naturally, because somebody can come up and bite you right now, and you better be able to find a way to get a result from it, and it's hard to do. Like today, we have 2 or 3 players that are out at college visits. Some of them are all the way down in Tennessee. We got some that are in the Marines that are at their physical trainings and so forth. They got to go on. But the rest of them will be there, and we'll get things done with what's there, and we'll reorganize on Monday.
Well, we got a couple of minutes here. One thing I want to talk to you about, the philosophy of going for 2 after every touchdown. You obviously, you have a kicker that can kick the extra point, but what's your philosophy behind that? I mean, do you only have to be successful half the time to maintain the score? Is that just something?
Well, it's important that we've done this all the time.
Right.
We always wanted to try to get up 15-0. If you score the first one, then we'll kick the second one, be up 15. If you have an opponent that has a great kicker that's going to hit field goals and extra points, then this is the only way to try to keep ahead of that edge. And the situations last night, we had a little problem with audibles down by the goal line. Both of them, they blocked incorrectly, or a back went the wrong direction in his scheme, and it's not good to be 12. You're exactly right.
Right.
But being 16. If the other team hasn't been going for 2 all year or a lot, now you're going to have them wanting to do something that they're not used to do.
Right.
So that's why we'll keep that same philosophy going that direction. And that same group, Hard Rock, Coco, and Joe, they're all, we got to kick it. Hey, we're going for 2. We're going to put the pressure on them rather than them always giving that chance. So, I think that's something that people see. The opponent coaches know about already before they show up to the game. They've been practicing on 2-point conversions. Hey, that means they're not practicing on the regular stuff.
Exactly. Yeah, they have to take time and practice. Hey, this is how we're going to stop the 2-point conversion.
That's correct. So those are things, again, that work to our advantage of putting the pressure on that situation.
And something else some teams are starting to do, and we almost thought they were going to do it to kick off last night. It felt like they may onside kick there at the beginning. The way he had kind of lined up to kick, and we saw it last week against Griffith. Teams are kind of saying, well, we want the ball now, even though we're kicking to you. We want to do an onside kick.
And especially when the opponent wins the toss and they say they want to defer, well, I would have said I want the ball anyway. So why are you deferring?
We talked about that last night.
Oh, okay. So we kind of figured that way you're lining up and how you're going to do those things. You get the ball deep to our guys. It gives Jake and those guys how much they work on it. There's a lot of opportunities to score from having that ball up in the air and then I think Isaac returned that one pretty good to start the game.
Yeah,
he was within it, and then he probably could have went all the way if the guy wouldn't have horse collared him or whatever, right?
But it got you into their territory just off the first the kickoff.
Wow. So you're seeing the right things, and those are all things up to begin with, because officials sometimes say, well, when the toss goes, do you want the ball or are you going to kick? And then they ask the other guy. Then when you come to flip the coin, they say, well, we're not even going to flip the coin because you've already said that you're going to want the ball. You were going to defer and give it to him anyway.
So let's just do it that way.
So let's just go on with it now.
Is that what they said?
Yeah. Well, no, not last night.
Oh, okay.
Some officials will ask you ahead of time.
I see.
Okay. And in today's football, you used to have the players make the decisions.
Right.
Flipping the coin, you'd have to go over it with him 4 or 5 times. What are you going to do?
And they get nervous.
I remember some times when we were up there at Griffith, we had some great teams, and all of a sudden we're getting ready to start the second half, and they go, Coach, which way you want to kick off? I go, well, we're going to get the ball, aren't we? No, your captain says he wants to play defense. That was the last time the defensive captain was out there for the flip of the coin.
Right.
Because he's hungry.
Yeah, you kicked off twice.
So what do you want? Right. And then the quarterback's after him, who happens to be one of my sons, like, what are you doing? Well, they said, what do you want to do? And I said, I want to play defense. So kids, you never know what they're going to do. And today they have the coaches come up with those decisions and so forth.
Well, because I was there, when that was going on, and when I heard him say we're going to defer, I was like, boy, either he wants to send a message thinking he's got something
that he's
lined up,
stop us
defensively, but to me, hey, if I'm an offensive team, I want my offense on the field.
Yeah.
And that's exactly
especially with that wide open offense they can ding and donging right here and there,
So I was shocked that we wanted to defer, and I'm like, that was interesting to me.
That puts a little fire in our guys too, the same guys, Hard Rock, Coco, and Joe go, oh, wait a minute, how did we get the ball? I go, well, they deferred. They want us to have the ball? All right. They get fired up. Things are going in warm-ups a lot more aggressive than they are the other way. So, when I was at New Prairie, they had a strange thing. Not as strange, but they always had a fan of the game that could be on the sidelines.
Okay.
That I think you'd actually bid on it. It was a money-making thing, like a game ball or whatever. And so each week there was a new adult. It was always an adult that would have an opportunity to get down there on the field. And at the end of the game, I never knew all this took place down here. I couldn't imagine what is happening. I said, well, I forgot you were here. I would have told you to do this, too. I put you to work. Be one of those 16. We'd had another one on our sideline. And some of the best ones were the ladies. That came right down on that field and were right there a part of it. And one time I caught them giving away Almond Joys and little candy treats or whatever. I go, well, no. That's not what you're down here for, okay? This is not a gift-oriented, giving out quilts or, these are. So one time they have fun too,
I could go into a story about my first time coaching against you here at Knox, and you're at New Prairie, and it was you guys were a lot better than us, but we had brought it to you. I think we made you fumble like 4 or 5 times in that first half.
It was here
at Knox.
Yeah. And
I remember before halftime, 6 seconds left, I called a timeout, and I stuck an extra player on the field. We had 12 guys on the field to run a Hail Mary.
Yeah.
And then things were starting to get a little chippy between the players. And so at halftime, I walk out to the white cap, and I'm ripping him, saying, hey, you got to get this under control. The players are starting to get a little extracurriculars and all this and all that. And I look over the white cap's shoulder, and I see Coach Radtke just standing there, and he's just stomping his foot, just waiting. I get done ripping the white cap, and I look at him and said, okay, Coach Radtke's got you now. And he just laid into him about, how can you not see they had 12 players on the field? Laid into him for about 5 minutes, and then we just look at each other, and we put our arms around each other. Man, that was a great first half.
Yeah.
And walked off the field.
You always want to leave everybody. You want to leave the defensive coordinator of the other team really thinking about, oh my God, what are we doing? And you always want to have the referees at halftime talking about, did that happen?
Yeah.
Is that really what went on? How are we going to readjust to this?
I'll admit,
you always put something information-wise back in their mind.
We snuck an extra player out there, and we didn't get caught.
Yeah, well,
just didn't work.
It's all situations, and it's fun. The coaches really get a lot out of this. And you ask me why I like to keep doing this, is because I don't look at it as a job. It's like a hobby. It's an opportunity to do things that are still fun. And as long as God-given ability, opportunities still go that way, we'll keep doing it. Whether it's going to be here or Knox or whatever, I don't know. But we'll always try to give that best foot forward.
Well, Coach, thanks so much for your time. Good luck in preparation this week against Garrett for a regional championship.
Yeah, well, Garrett is a town like North Judson. That's why they're called the Railroaders. I don't know how many intersections of roads go through there of trains.
Right.
And that's why they're called the Railroaders, coming out of Fort Wayne into Michigan, Cleveland, all that up in there. It all went north of Fort Wayne and met right here in this town. Just like Justin used to have 5 or 6 different tracks that went through there. As a little kid, I couldn't wait till the next train that was going to derail. Because we got a train derailed out in Michigan, the Michigan Railroad or whatever. And everybody would head for it. And the farmers would all show up with their tractors and bulldozers
to help
to get it cleaned up, to get the grain out and so forth.
Yeah.
And everybody had a good time. Not the people that had the train wreck,
But you're right.
Yeah. But we got to get this line open. We got all these other trains setting back against us on the opposite side. It took a lot of work. They'd get the big lights out and everything, and usually by daybreak, the tracks were put back together.
Wow.
And it wasn't just done by the railroad itself. There's a lot of community that worked on it. So these are all things that are good. It isn't that way today, but it's something. Auburn, nothing else. Go visit. If you want to go, I don't know what's by Taylor, okay? Trying to get some Blue Jay guys to come to our place, all right? But Auburn is right next door to where we're going to be. And Auburn is where
the car auction,
the cars, and a great antique museum that you can't get through in one day because they just don't have Auburns.
Right.
They got the Studebakers. They got all kinds
Cruz
of things
runs
in there.
that.
Yeah, so that's right outside there. And it'd be an opportunity to see something else that day too.
Well, you're just planning everyone's day, Coach.
Okay, there we go. You guys going?
We're going to be there. One of our stations is
I'm
going to
talking
be
about the Auburn Museum.
Oh, well, I'm going to be there too. Yeah.
Okay.
I've actually been there. My dad used to take me.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a big auction.
It's really interesting to see all the things, and it'd be a great opportunity.
What?
I was just going to say, if this coaching thing doesn't work out for you, Coach, tourism director might.
Yeah, how about that? Hey, I've been all over the
KVB
state.
Travel. We'd hire him to do the KVB travel. Travel with Russ Radtke. That'd be a great. Do you know how many people would sign up?
That could be a TV show.
We'd have Coach, appreciate your time.
All right, take care. I appreciate everybody having fun, and let's enjoy Stark County. That these two teams right now are just providing aperture and opportunities. And we started off the season, and now we're they're one of the 8 in single A, and we're one of the 8 in 3A.
It's amazing.
No, it's just beyond belief in Stark County itself. So
it's beautiful.
It's great to have, and I'm sure both communities are looking forward to see this opportunity to advance.
We'll talk this week.
Okay, take care.
That is head coach of the Knox Redskins. It's Russ Radtke here on the Saturday Sports Line. The Redskins are 3-time sectional champions, 3 times in a row. An opportunity to make it a regional championship. Yet again, their second in a row. That's coming up this week as they take on Garrett. One of KVB stations is going to be there, so don't worry. KVB has got you covered, Redskin fans. We're going to take a break. Top of the hour. Athlete of the Week interview is up next. Don't go anywhere.
Take the trip to go and listen.
It's the law firm of Conroy McLaughlin.
That is a good one. You got all the good nicknames, Chris. 4th and 2 from shotgun. McLaughlin keeps it himself. Quarterback keep up the middle, breaks away to the 8, and he will get the first down. He was going to the right. He cuts back into the middle. He finds the hole, and he's patient.
At First Farmers Bank and Trust, agriculture has been a cornerstone of our business for more than 135 years. Our personal relationships within the ag community run deep for multiple generations. If you're looking for a financial partner that knows, understands, and supports agriculture, I'd love to hear from you. I'm Isaac Blue, ag banker at First Farmers. Come into our Knox, North Judson, or Culver branches, or visit us online at ffbt.com when you're ready to talk about growing your operation. First Farmers Bank and Trust, member FDIC, equal opportunity lender.
It's hard to believe, but time sure does fly by. Collins Insurance Agency in downtown Knox are celebrating over 30 years of taking care of all of your insurance needs in our communities.
If I could turn back time.
And we're not going anywhere.
Stop in and see Jim and the crew at Collins Insurance Agency in downtown Knox.
Insurance you can count on from a business you've trusted since 1989.
Proud presidential partners of Western Reserve.
It's time now for Hour 2 of the Saturday Sports Line with your host, Kankakee Valley Broadcasting's WKVI Sports Director, Mitch Columbi, and sports analyst, Chris McGowan.
We are back for more from the Pulaski Memorial Hospital studios. This is the longest-running high school sports show in Indiana, the Saturday Sports Line. It's time to talk about our Tyler Roth WKVI Athlete of the Week, senior girls volleyball player from Culver Community. It's Ashley Pugh. Ashley recently achieved 1,000 career assists, making her the all-time career assist leader as a volleyball player at Culver Community High School. She was one of the main key factors in that successful Cavalier squad that made it all the way to semi-state. She also helped them bring the first regional championship in the school's history as well. Without further ado, here's my sit-down interview with Culver Lady Cavalier senior Ashley Pugh.
Okay, I am with our Tyler Roth WKVI Athlete of the Week. It's Ashley Pugh. Congratulations, Ashley. Man, what an amazing season it was for this Lady Cavalier team. And then also, the reason we're here, 1,000 career assists. You are the career assist leader at this school. Quite an accomplishment. Talk about the sport of volleyball. What is it about it that you love?
I love, obviously, all my teammates. They've always been there to have my back whenever I'm down or in a situation where I can't can't get out of my head or anything. I don't know, I fell in love with the game at a young age, and my coaches have continued to help push the love on me. So, yeah.
You get 1,000 career assists, but not only that, you become the career assist leader at the school. I mean, that's kind of a double whammy if you think about it. When you hear that, what's that make you feel like?
It makes me feel really excited, very proud of myself, because obviously I've worked really hard to get to this point. I've been a setter since middle school, so it's nice to know that like all my hard work has finally paid off.
Yeah, I know we talked a couple of weeks ago. This is such a close team, and I know it didn't end the way you guys had wanted it to, but you became regional champions for the first time ever in school history on the volleyball court. You ended up going to semi-state, and you did very well early on against South Newton. Talk about the experiences you had this deep postseason run. I mean, it's had to have been a really bonding experience for all you girls.
Yeah, it definitely was. It definitely was something that we had to adjust to, because in past years we've gotten out in like first round of sectionals. So extending our season by two and a half more weeks, that was definitely a lot for us to adjust to. But it was really fun because we obviously all got a lot closer, and like knowing that we set that record together, it's like we'll always be a family and we'll always have that picture up on the wall.
Talk about the coaching staff. You know, we've had chats with Coach Andrea Barrett, but not only just her, just talk about the coaching staff as a whole and what prompted them to give, or how it felt for you to get the encouragement from this staff.
Yeah, so obviously we all know Andrea. She's been with us since kindergarten. We've had Amanda Minnick. She's been in here off and on throughout my whole high school career, open gyms, everything like that. And then Michael Skiles, he was there. Michael and Steph were there my freshman, sophomore, and junior year. So they've been with us all along. Michael took a year off last year because he was our FFA advisor as well. So they've always been there for us, and it's nice to know that we can rely on them if we ever have any questions or issues or anything like that.
Yeah, we talked to Bryn Barron a few weeks ago as well. You know, she was our Tyler Roth WKVI Athlete of the Week that week, and I asked her the same question I'll ask you. Who else do we need to know about on this team besides Bryn Barron and Ashley Pugh?
I definitely think Livy Overmeyer and Tyra King, they've been a huge step up this year. Obviously, Bryn leads us in kills and all that stuff, but they have adjusted so well, because earlier in the season, Livy and Tyra were our only middles, and about halfway through the season, we adjusted it to where we were doing a 3-middle rotation, and they adjusted to the outside and even the right side here and there when we needed them to very well.
I'm sure the locker room was tough this past weekend when you didn't ultimately move forward, but also I'm sure it was a bonding experience. Do you mind sharing us what that locker room was like with the girls after that tough loss?
It was definitely very quiet because a lot of people didn't want to talk, but I think the one thing that stuck with all of us the most was when Andrea told us, like, yes, we didn't go out the way we wanted us to, but you also have to remember the history we made. Like, our picture's still going to be on the wall either way, so like that's still huge. And it was just very emotional, obviously, for all of us, because we all became super, super close, winning sectionals and regionals and going to semi-state. So yeah,
you had Cavalier Nation in full force behind you. What would be your message to them, knowing now everything that had happened?
Just a huge thank you to everyone. Like, we appreciate you so much. You guys were there for us even when the game was an hour and a half away. So looking up in the crowd and seeing everyone that was there, it just meant so much to us, and it was nice to know that we had all those people behind us cheering us on.
Tell us your parents' names.
Jeff and Amy Pugh.
And talk about the support system they've been for you.
Oh my gosh, they've been huge. They're literally like my rocks. Both my parents text me before every single game, just like, be a leader on the court, telling me like good luck, and like they know I'm gonna do good, like no matter what happens, like just focus on you and focus on what you can do and everything. They've always made sure I have everything I need. They make sure I'm feeling good throughout the day, anything like that, anything I need. And they both texted me after the semifinal or the semi-state game and just were like, I'm so proud of you. Like, you've already made a huge accomplishment. Obviously, yeah, you didn't go out the way you wanted it to, but you still made history. So like, you have to be proud of yourself there. And like, I'm just glad they were here for my journey.
What would be your message to future Lady Cavalier volleyball players, especially ones that looked up to you this year and saw the amazing things that you and your teammates did?
Definitely put your whole heart and everything on the court. Leave everything on the court, because once it's done, there's no going back. And just take in the years that like your freshman, sophomore, junior year, because once you get to your senior year, that's it and it's done. And once you lose that final game, it's a huge realization of holy cow, I'm actually done, and I'm not playing again anymore for Culver. So definitely just take in what you want, or take in everything and be proud of everything you do.
Yeah, you still have a little bit of time before the spring, so enjoy your senior season. But what does it mean to Ashley Pugh to be a Culver Lady Cavalier?
Oh, it means so much. It's truly amazing to be a Culver Cavalier. It's nice to know that the community is always behind us. Our biggest motto is the community, because we're all a family, and whether you don't like so-and-so or you don't like this person, we're all a family once it comes to sports, and knowing that is just huge.
Well, Ashley, thank you so much for your time, and congratulations for being named one of our Tyler Roth WKVI Athletes of the Week.
Thank you.
Big time shout out to Athletic Director Mike Zahner. Also, thank you to Ashley for her time, as we are going to take a break and come back. More sports talk on the way. Don't go anywhere. You're listening to the Saturday Sports Line.
The Stark County Co-op has been a member-owned farm services co-op in Stark County since 1928. That's over 90 years, and they're still providing the same quality agronomy services to the farming community of Stark and surrounding counties. The Stark County Co-op is an LP and fuel provider. The Stark County Co-op purchases grain at both locations, Hamlet and Brems. You can reach them by phone at 1-800-782-3392.
Stay tuned for more sports talk with Mitch Columbi on Kankakee Valley Broadcasting's WKVI.
Coke Zero is now Coke Zero Sugar, with great Coke taste. Some people were excited to hear the news. Some were skeptical. So we're not going to have the star of the show you're watching come out and say, "You'll love it." No special jingle written by this week's hottest pop star. No famous internet celebs who happen to be holding the label just so. Okay, maybe just one little pour shot. The only thing that will make you believe Coke Zero Sugar has great Coke taste is trying it yourself. Ice cold Coke Zero Sugar. Try one today.
Now let's return to more of the Saturday Sports Line with WKVI Sports Director Mitch Columbi.
3rd and 1, out of the gun. McLaughlin takes the snap, fakes the handoff, keeps it himself, breaks away. Now to the 40, around the edge of the 35. Tackle to the 32.
Horse collar.
Back from the Pulaski Memorial Hospital studios, this is the Saturday Sports Line. We are transitioning to basketball. Yes, basketball is here, folks, and this is the state of Indiana. You know we love it. We're starting with our Stark County teams today. We'll have a chance to talk with head coach of the North Judson-San Pierre Lady Blue Jays, Whitney Combs, in this hour, as well as Knox Lady Redskins head coach James Adcock. But right now, it is all about the Lady Cats of Oregon Davis. We have head coach Aubrey Lady. Welcome back, Coach. Good morning.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Of course, you guys started off strong, 2-0. You beat Couts, a very big win there. And then also wanted to talk about this game this past Thursday. You held it in the middle of the school day, and you won. I'm guessing it was a packed house because the kids were there.
It was pretty full, and we had some community members come out too, so it was exciting. It was loud, and the girls loved it. So obviously we came out with a win, so that helped.
He's perplexed.
How'd you get that? That sounds kind of cool.
Yeah, I had a vision, last spring, and I talked over with the administration, and they helped me make it work. And there's a lot of people that went into getting it done and making sure, safety obviously is our main thing. The teachers kind of gave me some leeway there because they want to be in the classroom learning, but it was good for that Bobcat spirit and getting all the kids in there. There's a lot of kids that have never been to a game,
right?
So they had that opportunity, and it was just all around. It was a great thing for us, and we're planning hopefully to continue to do that as years come.
That's cool. I like that.
I thought it was really cool too. We weren't able to get there for that game. Of course, we're kind of pushed back with everything we're dealing with here at KVB, but I mean, that is pretty awesome to have the fans there, to have the kids there. It kind of entices them. Hey, come back on a Friday night. Come back on a Saturday. This is the kind of experience you're going to get. And then, you've got a great team right now. This junior class has really grown up in front of our eyes. Talk about this team, Coach. You're smiling already. It seems like you're finally getting to the point where you're excited. Not to say that you weren't excited,
right.
But it's getting to the point now where the expectations that you've set are finally coming aligned.
Yeah, historically, Lady Cat basketball has been a team that gets up and down and kind of runs people out of the gym as far as conditioning and stuff. And, we're kind of getting back to that. We have the personnel in order to be able to do that. So, even after the game on Thursday, we had some community members that came up and they were telling us, this is exciting. This is what Lady Cat basketball is all about. And the girls are learning it. We're not there yet, but we're seeing some of the different things that they're doing, and it's exciting. They're starting to figure out what we're asking of them and why we're asking them to do all these things. And, both of our first two games, each of the coaches came up at halftime like, can you just slow it down a little bit? We're tired. And, we only have 8 kids that can play. So, getting kids in and out, and, the other teams have a full bench. And I'm like, look, this is what we want, and we're trying to make sure the girls understand that, and they're kind of seeing it when we go back and look at film and stuff. So it's exciting. Lady Cat basketball is coming back, and we're ready to go.
Yeah, I saw the stats from that first game of the season from Couts you'd sent me. Jayla Patrick led the way with 18, then right behind her was Sarah Thompson, I believe, with 15, and then right behind her, I think with 13, was Gabby Kraus. I mean, those three are something special, it seems like, here early on.
Absolutely. I mean, the good thing about us is we have plenty of girls that can share the ball and score at any time. And one night it might be Sarah, and the next night it might be Jayla, or, however it works. But this past Thursday, Sarah had, I think, 24 and 15. And Gabby didn't have her best shooting night, neither did Jayla, but Sarah stepped up. And, we talked about today at practice, and the freshmen are stepping up. And, we still have our senior, Ashley Laster, who's out there working her tail off. She kind of does some of the background things that aren't necessarily in the stats or something that everybody talks about, but she's setting the screens and she's making the defense throw the ball away, and so they're all kind of coming together. It's nice to know that we have freshmen that are able to step right in and go up against seniors, kids that are bigger than them, faster than them, more mature, but they have no fear, and we can turn around and just pick the next person up.
Yeah, you get that combination of leadership in that junior class who have started since freshmen, and now you get the incoming freshmen. You get that good mix because the freshmen they really don't know any better. They don't understand the magnitude of the situation. But again, yeah, it's a good time to be Lady Cat basketball. That's for sure. And Thompson is somebody that being Tri-Township, was somebody that we always, she's going to post herself on the right block. Don't let her beat you there.
Right.
But she still was able to do it. It was just amazing.
And something I also wanted to bring up, I remember last year you had kind of mentioned to me, as well as Terry had mentioned to me, that eighth grade class, now they're freshmen. Talk about this freshman class we've been hearing about in the background. Share with what you will, but just tell us a little. It sounds like there's some excitement here.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, we have Madison Zalea, Erin McMillan, Eva Young, and Trinity Vasari. They all come in every day, and they're asking questions. They're helping each other out. There may be times where they have no idea, what we're doing as far as offense, and we do run a lot of different offenses. But as soon as we walk them through it, they grasp it, which, we didn't think we could put all of our sets in, but so far we've been doing a pretty decent job at that. But they work really well with each other. They support each other. And the good thing about it is they've already meshed with our upperclassmen easily. Like they're hanging out, outside of basketball. They're helping with going over plays with each other during lunchtime. But the good thing about it is it's a family atmosphere. And we always say just because someone has an off night, it's the next person up. And if you do have an off night, then you can still help in other ways. I know the other day at the school day game, there was a picture that was snapped where our bench, our freshman dove on the ball, got it back for us, and if you look at Coach Lexi, she was really intense into it, but the rest of our bench was also into it. And I said, just because you're sitting out doesn't mean you're out of the game. You're just as important as the kids on the floor. And they have taken that. But it'll be exciting to see where these freshmen are in 4 years. I think they have a lot that they can achieve. It's the sky's the limit. It's just up to them on what the work that they want to put into it and how to get there.
You got a couple of games coming up this week. You're on the road, both of them on Tuesday against Trinity Greenlawn, and then next Saturday you will be on the road in the Nest to see the North Judson-San Pierre Blue Jays. So a couple of big games on tap. Do you know anything about Trinity Greenlawn or the Blue Jays you can share with us?
Obviously it's early in the season, so you don't know too much about any team per se. The biggest thing for us is to make sure that we are focused on what our game plan is, getting up and down the floor. Like I said, our tallest girl's 5'8". So we have to make sure that, we're getting those 50-50 balls and we're hustling. We're getting rebounds. We got to make sure we get a body into someone, which we have struggled with a little bit, but we are working on, and just understanding what they need to do in any game at any time for their teammates and to be successful.
It's going to be an exciting season, Coach. What are your goals for this Lady Cats team?
Obviously we got into the conference this year, so we're working on getting a conference championship. We have the bi-county and the sectional.
Hoosier North Athletic Conference,
yes.
Correct?
Yep.
So now you enter this conference, how long has it been since you guys have been a part of a conference?
It's probably been since 2007-ish.
So this is kind of a big deal here.
Yeah.
To compete within a conference amongst local area teams.
Right. And it's great for our kids because they, have some more accolades that they can work towards. The HNAC also has the academic side of it with the math and the English contest. So for our school itself, it benefits everybody all around. But first things first is we have to make sure that we are doing our thing, staying in shape and working as hard as we can to get to where we want to be. At the end of the season, it all comes down to sectional. It doesn't matter what your record is or how close you were in other games, but just to make sure that as we go throughout the season that we're getting better and we're working towards our goals.
Talk about the coaching staff. Who do you have with you this year?
I still have Coach Minix, Terry, Coach Lexi, Coach Jamie is back again, Moorfield, and then we added Emily LaFree. She's actually our math teacher in the junior high, and she graduated from Argus, so believe it or not, Argus people do kind of like OD people. But, we're happy to have her.
As long as they're not playing each other.
Yeah.
Right. Exactly.
We're happy to have her. She compliments us well. She does great with the girls. The girls love her. And, I think between all of us, we're able to make sure that the kids are understanding, on the floor in the middle of a game, what's going on. I don't really hear a whole lot as the game's going on, whether it's stands or even the bench sometimes, but I have those people behind me that are able to, pull a girl out and say, this is where you need to be, this is what you need to do. And that is definitely something that I need, and I'm very thankful for each of them.
Well, it's exciting times. We're putting our schedule together. We will start doing some basketball games here later on this month, and you better believe we're going to do some Lady Cat basketball games. So, Coach, I appreciate you coming in and talking with us. Won't be the last time we talk, so stay tuned. We'll talk to you here in the next week or two and see how things shake out.
I appreciate it.
All right, that is head coach,
Good luck, Coach.
of the Oregon Davis Lady Cats. It's Aubrey Lady here on the Saturday Sports Line. We are going to take a break. More sports talk is on the other side. Don't go anywhere. This is the Saturday Sports Line.
From From shotgun, Miles McLaughlin, Conroy to his left, takes the snap, hands off the Conroy, up the middle, breaks away to the 25 to the 20, and he's brought down. Big time run. It's a first down run. Jake Conroy. From shotgun, McLaughlin fakes the handoff, keeps it himself up the middle, and he will get the touchdown.
Yes.
Another 6 points to put on the board. Miles McLaughlin on the quarterback keep.
Give me one reason to stay here, and I'll turn right back around. Said I don't want to leave you lonely. You gotta make me change my mind. Baby, I got your number. Oh, and I know that you got mine.
Pulaski Memorial Hospital. Quality care closer to home. Pulaski Memorial Hospital is all about community and keeping our community spotlight shining on the accomplishments of our youth. That's why PMH is proud to be a sponsor of our local high school sports action on WKVI, our community radio station. Pulaski Memorial Hospital. Quality care closer to home.
Stay tuned for more sports talk with Mitch Columbi and Chris McGowan on the longest running high school sports show in Indiana, the Saturday Sports Line.
It's hard to believe, but time sure does fly by. Collins Insurance Agency in downtown Knox are celebrating over 30 years of taking care of all of your insurance needs in our communities.
If I could turn back time.
And we're not going anywhere.
Stop in and see Jim and the crew at Collins Insurance Agency in downtown Knox.
Insurance you can count on from a business you've trusted since 1989.
Proud presidential partners of Western Reserve.
You're listening to Mitch Columbi and Chris McGowan on Kankakee Valley Broadcasting's WKVI.
Welcome back to the Saturday Sports Line as we transition and talk some more girls basketball. We have head coach of the North Judson-San Blue Jays. It's Whitney Combs. She's here for year 2, Coach. Can you believe it's year 2 for you already?
It went by fast, that's for sure.
Well, here we are. You've been putting a lot of work into the offseason. Of course, we follow you on social media. Man, you girls look like you've been putting in the work.
Yeah, our girls have. They've been getting in the gym. We've been getting them to camps. We went to D1. A lot of our girls have went to college camps, putting in the work. Ending the season on that loss to LaVille kind of put a bad taste in our mouth. So we've been waiting for the season to start. So we're excited to get going.
Yeah, as we talk, it is Thursday. You will see Rochester tonight. What do you know, anything you can share with us about Rochester for the other area teams that may be playing them?
I mean, Rochester was our first game last year, too, and we ended up pulling out a win by 1. Rochester has a lot of height and size. They run a zone. They are very in shape. They have they don't have a lot of girls, so they have to be in shape to play the whole game. They like to get in your face, rebounding machines, and they're very good shooters. So we have to make sure we get out there, have a high hand on all shots. We have to make sure we're boxing out, and we just have to take care of business. We got to want it, more than they do.
Yeah, something that I find is interesting is once the first game happens, it's you're hit the ground running. Talk about some of the girls on the team. Of course, we remember several of them, Kylie Lehigh being one of them. Also, we remember Kaylin Tunis as a freshman last year, now a sophomore. A lot of interesting highlights to talk about with your team.
Yeah, definitely. So we have senior Kylie Lehigh. She's a senior this year. We look for her to have a huge season this year. Last year she really took off. She showed us what she's capable of, and this year, being a senior, we really hope she takes it to the next level. She's had a great summer. She's went to a ton of camps to better herself, and she's just a true competitor. She doesn't like to lose, and, that's kind of the mentality that we need everyone to have on our team. Then we have senior Gracie Minix. We really look for her to be big for us this year in the post. She, brings another dimension to our team with the post play that she has. Her moves have gotten really, really good this summer, so we're excited to see what she can bring to the table this year for us. Next up, we do have junior Kaya Burkett. she gave us great minutes as a sophomore last year, and she's been working really hard this summer. She's working on her moves to the basket and becoming a more consistent shooter for us. And then a new name to our schedule, we have junior Shiloh DeBoard. She came to us around August from Morgan Township. She's going to be a huge role in our system for us this year. She's coming in with great experience and knowledge of the game. She went to a lot of camps this summer as well. She's going to be key for us defensively. I think her and Kylie are going to be, they're going to torture some people on defense.
Okay.
We look for her to give us another look offensively too, take some pressure off the other girls that were our scorers last year. So we're excited to see her, working in our offense and our defense and to get her out there with our team. Then obviously we have our sophomore Kaylin Tunis, cat's out of the bag on her from last year. Last year she was a freshman, she really helped us at the get-go. You couldn't tell if you looked out there that she was a freshman, and towards the end of the season, she was starting to get really comfortable. And now coming in as a sophomore, she has more experience from last year. So we really look for her take off. We've been working on getting her some new moves and, get kind of crafty with scoring, because the teams are going to be keying in on her now.
I can only imagine.
Right. And then next up we have our sophomore Avery Johnston. She was also a freshman last year, and she had the big responsibility of being our point guard, which is a lot for anyone, let alone a freshman. She handled it extremely well, and I think each game she was more poised, and she took over that role really well. She's had a great offseason. She's been working on her left hand. She's been developing that. She's been more aggressive defensively and offensively, which we love to see. Next up, we have junior Grace Craig. We look for her to come in and give us great minutes. She's one of those girls that she goes 110% anytime she's on that court. Like, if I put her in, I know she's going to do everything in her power to give us her all. And you don't get that. You can't teach that. That's just something they have to want to do. Then we have sophomore Macy Morrow. She lettered for us last year, but this summer she has been really showing us great things. She's a go hard person all the time. She comes in, she gives us everything she has every minute she's on that floor. Once again, you can't really teach that. And she is like just an awesome player out there. She knows her strengths and her weaknesses, and she's going to get people that need to get the ball. She's going to get them the ball.
Yeah.
And that's just like an awesome person to have on your team. She's going to go out there and just give it your all. And then we do have freshman Lexi Howard. She played in our scrimmage really well. We see her coming in this year and giving us some big minutes when we need her. She's got a really good shot. Getting her in our system, I think she's going to help her, especially as we move on throughout the season.
As this interview airs here on Saturday, you will see Rensselaer Central tonight. But something I thought was interesting we talked about before we started the interview was here you are on Thursday getting ready for Rochester, but at the same time, you're watching some film of Oregon Davis, who you'll see in the next few days. Of course, Oregon Davis had a noon game. That was pretty cool.
Yeah, I do. That's really awesome. I see all the fans out there.
Yeah, absolutely. It seems that's what I love about coaches is even though you're ready for the game tonight, you're still preparing for future games. You're always thinking 10 steps ahead, and I know that that needs a very good coaching staff around you. Same coaching staff as last year?
Yep, same coaching staff. They are everything to me. They're my backbone. They help all the time. They scout. They do everything. They're awesome, and I couldn't ask for a better coaching staff.
Yeah, it's got to be awesome. You get to work alongside your husband, Denver. He is so much fun to watch. He gets animated. He gets intense. He gets into the game.
He sure does. He loves it. That's his element out there.
Yeah, absolutely. And who else is with you?
Coach Kayla Zimmerman.
Right. Yes, she's been with the team for a while now.
Yep, I want to say it's her 8th or 9th year. So she has been the JV coach for 4 years, I believe, and before that she was doing 8th grade. So she has been around coaching, and she is a big asset to our staff.
Well, and of course, I know this is down the road, but we, of course, are keeping our eye on that night before Thanksgiving game against the Knox Lady Redskins. What a historic night that always is. But I know all signs are on Rochester here as we talk on Thursday and then on Saturday for Rensselaer Central. Coach, we talked about some of the players. We've talked about your coaching staff now. What is this year's goals?
Well, all in all, we're pretty excited about this year's team. We feel if the girls come ready to work every day to get better, then we have a pretty good shot at winning a lot of games. We look forward to seeing how it all shakes out at the end. We did move to 1A, so our sectionals will look a little different for us. We play a lot of the same opponents during the season that we're going to see in sectionals, or that we could see in sectionals, So we'll get to work our way through the season and see how we kind of stack up there and what we need to work on for the end. But moving through the season, I feel like we could be the team on a lot of people's schedule. That's the team that they want to beat. I feel like everyone always wants to beat the Lady Jays. So we have to figure out how to navigate that and, keep our girls hungry to win. Just like every team and every season, we're going to have some ups and downs. But we are really pushing our girls to get better how they respond when things get hard. For girls, I think a lot of times when things get hard for them, they just kind of either want to back away or, kind of roll over. So, we're trying to get them to respond differently. Like, hey, no, we're going to fight.
Yeah.
Right? So we want to see what kind of team we're going to be when things get hard. Like if we take a loss, which is going to happen, it happens in everyone's season. If we take a loss that shouldn't have happened, how are we going to respond?
Wow.
Are we going to come practice that next day and just be pouty, and sad? Are we going to come to get better, So that's what we have to get to. We have to get to that point where, hey, something didn't go away. Who cares?
Wow.
We can do better and get better, We want to be that team. We want to be like the best team on everyone's schedule. That's the team they want to be because that helps us prepare for sectionals, right? We want things to be hard for us. So come, postseason when we're in the big games, that things come a little bit easier for us, We just want to keep winning. Last year we had a huge win against South Central, and then we just kind of slumped off. And, LaVille came in and they wanted it more than we did in that championship game. And, I don't like ending anything on a loss. And I hope the girls remember how that felt when we did lose that game. And I hope that makes them hungry all season long to, we don't want to feel like that again. So let's go out with a bang. So that's just our goal this year, finish the end game, win that last game so we don't have to end the season on a sour note.
Yeah, it seems like the confidence coming into this year, Coach, is taking several steps forward.
Yeah, I think our girls have gotten a lot better. Last year we kind of just wanted someone else to do the hard things for us. You know what I mean? Like, oh, well, she can score just like I can score, so I'm going to let her do it. Whereas now we're figuring it out. We're like, hey, if I'm open, I'm going to take it. Let me take this one. So something we have to continue to work on, but it has gotten a lot better since last year, and I'm excited to see how it all shakes out tonight, see how they respond. Last night's practice was a little so I'm hoping a little pep talk at the end of practice whips them in shape for our game today. So.
Well, Coach, we love getting to the nest, so we will see you quite a bit this season. I sure do appreciate your time and hopping on here.
Awesome. Thank you, Mitch.
All right, that is head coach of the North Judson-San Pierre Lady Blue Jays. It's Whitney Combs here on the Saturday Sports Line. More sports talk coming your way. Don't go anywhere. You're listening to Kankakee Valley Broadcasting's WKVR.
Thimble from shotgun, sets his man in motion, takes a snap, steps back, fires immediately. Intercepted by the Redskins! Miles McLaughlin skied high, and he comes up with the interception, and he's pumped up too. Let's go!
Being able to recycle is one of our main goals at LAP Waste. Being able to say that we only take about 8% of our trash to the dump is pretty impressive for us, and we hope to keep building on that.
We service an 80-mile circle from Monterey. If you have a small job, big job, or just have a one-time, we are here to make a difference in this area.
And that phone number, Kirby?
574-542-4019.
Let's continue the conversation with area high school coaches and more on the Saturday Sports Line.
We welcome you back to the Pulaski Memorial Hospital studios as we are continuing our talks with Stark County girls basketball. We now will talk with head coach of the Knox Lady Redskins. It's James Adcock. Welcome back, Coach. A new season.
New season, man. Here we go.
I am so excited. Basketball is my favorite. Hey, I know the football fans are listening, and football's going good. I'm a basketball guy.
Yeah.
I love basketball. This is my favorite time of year. Let's learn a little bit about this Knox Lady Redskin team. You're coming back for year 2. Can you believe year 2 already for you?
Year 2, yeah. No, it's hard to believe, but we are excited about this year, and we're just hoping to get it rolling.
We'll talk about some of the players on this team. Who do we need to know about?
Well, obviously, we're returning 2 seniors this year. We got Rose Webb, and we got Portland Minix. Mm-hmm. And, of course, Portland's going to be one of our main shooters and just kind of a great leader on the floor. And then Rose is coming and learning down low. You got a team, and your tallest player is 5'6", 5'7". So, she has to learn to kind of play with the bigs down there, and she's doing a pretty good job there. And so we're hoping for the best there. We have 3 oncoming freshmen we're excited about. We have Serenity Nava, who right now is our leading scorer for our varsity team. And then we have Maddie Hewitt. Maddie Henshaw. I always do that. And she's going to be a great threat down low, and once she gets her confidence up. And then we have Lexi Salyers as a freshman coming in, and she's doing a great job as well. And so our guards, Riley Taylor, Presley Minix, or Messer, getting all my names mixed around this morning, are doing a great job learning their positions and just kind of coming in and realizing, hey, we got to put a lot of minutes on the floor.
Yeah. Well, and you talk about Presley Messer. We remember her older sister played very well for the Knox Lady Redskins. You got really good. You talked about the seniors there in Portland Minix, one of them, and we kind of looked at the stats last year. I'm trying to rack my brain, but she may have been one of the best free throw shooting. She had maybe one of the best free throw shooting percentages in our area.
And I think, and I may be wrong, but I think she might have had the best percentage school-wise as far as the school record goes. So I might be wrong on it, but she's real close. She's close. Yeah. And then conference-wise, I think she did have the best.
A smart player, too. She does such a good job as the point.
Very high IQ basketball-wise.
It makes your job a lot easier, I assume.
Yeah. And, it's nice. It's nice when she's on the floor because she can tell the girls where they should be. She can get them calmed down, and then we can run through it. And so she does a great job doing that. It's just great leadership from both her and Rose.
Talk about some of the goals this year that you have for this team.
Well, obviously, we want to continue to go out there and we want to compete every game possibly that we can. Obviously, we're looking at growing at every practice, learning something, not so much learning something new, but just getting comfortable in what we're trying to do and why we're trying to do it. And one of the things I've learned with girls basketball is not so much how do we do this, but why do we do this? And, because sometimes you're doing a drill and they're like, man, why are we doing it this way? And then all of a sudden it fits within a play, it fits within a drill, and they're like, oh, okay, I get this. And so we've just been trying to over-communicate. We've been trying to exaggerate things on the floor during practice so that when we get into a game, we are much more prepared.
Yeah, you started off your season on the road for both games, Morgan Township and Couts. Tough losses there, but this coming week, you've got 3 games on tap, 2 home games. You'll host West Central here on the 12th. Then you're on the road for John Glenn, and the next Saturday you'll host Rensselaer Central. So big week here for you.
Yeah.
I mean, you hit the ground running.
Yeah. Unfortunately, we hit the ground running. It's weird because girls basketball, it seemed like when I was on the boys' side, we had a lot more practice time. Maybe there wasn't, but we go into our scrimmage after 8 practices, and we have our first game after 9 practices, and then we're, like you said, we're hitting the road running. So we're still learning. We're still growing, and obviously you hope your summer program affects the overall season. But we're off run. We have a tough week this week. Our game with John Glenn would be postponed because of the boys playing.
Oh, okay.
So, we have West Central's coming in. And so we had a tough match with them last year. Mm-hmm. And then obviously Rensselaer is always tough. They have, I know they graduated some girls last year, but they're going to be tough.
Talk about the coaching staff. Who do you have with you?
I have returning with me. I have Augie and Paige Gappa, and then a young lady I have brought on with me is Terry McFarland, and she's coached some college. She coached college ball in Michigan, and then she's done some high school, and so she brings a lot of experience. And then I inherited Paige and Augie with their experience and what
they've been there for a while now.
Yeah, they were there with Neil when he coached. Obviously, him and Neil did boys side there for a while, like 7th, 8th grade level, before they got the girls. But they just bring a lot of experience. They're great with the girls, and Terry's been great with the girls as well. And so just, the four of us working together. We have some volunteer staff as well that come in, help us with scrimmaging. We have like Hope Zarnacki. We have Molly Howard. They come in, they help us out, and they're just, of course, they bring it. They were both really great ball players when they played, and so they bring a different level that it's hard to have high school girls do at this point, and so it's making our girls better.
Just looking at your schedule, that John Glenn game said he's going to get postponed. You're going to get moved depending on when it gets moved to. I mean, you're at home, except for that John Glenn game, until December 7th.
Yeah.
So, wow.
Yeah, that's nice. So it'd be nice for that, and it'd be nice to be on our home floor, be with our fans cheering the girls forward. I know they want to get a win underneath their belt.
Yeah.
And, we played hard against Morgan Township. And we played hard against Couts, but we fell short. We just kind of Couts, we just kind of struggled a little bit there in that first quarter, trying to get our bearings a little bit. And
it's a big, spacious gym. It's a tough place to play.
Yeah, and they came in off a loss against OD. It was their first home game, and they were going to be hyped up, and they were, and they got a bucket right off the bat that just kind of set the tone. And we struggled there in the first quarter. We hung with them, but once you get down like we did, it was hard to get back into that. And so, but I give it to our girls. They never quit. They don't have a quit spirit in them. I don't care what the score is. They just continue to fight, and I really appreciate about that.
And we've talked before, Portland Minix, she's a tough cookie. She plays with some minor injuries. I've talked with Neil about it before, and she just keeps chugging along. And at the point guard position, that's your leader. You kind of look. She leads by example.
Yeah, and she, again, we're facing injury issues right now, and she's fighting through it. She's coming to practice every day. She's doing everything she can in practice. She's in the game doing everything she can there, and there's some limited mobility, but we're working through that. Our trainer is working through that, helping her try to get stretched out, helping get wrapped in the right way, and so she's doing the best she can. And like you said, you can never fault. You can never look at Portland Minix, no matter what her condition, and say, "Well, she quit." There's not that quitting in her, and she may not be able to get to one point to the other like she normally would when she doesn't have an injury. But that's not going to stop her from getting on the floor and doing everything she possibly can.
Chris, you've coached girls basketball for quite a long time there. What would be your message to a coach, any coach, not just Coach Adcock here? What would be something that you would let coaches know starting out the season? It can be, like he said, it took a few quarters there to get kind of warmed up and going. What's some words of wisdom that you would share as a former head coach?
I don't know if they want to take my advice or not, but what happened to me. But anyway, just I've always said to any new coach, just be who you are.
Right.
And don't ever deviate from that. You have your core beliefs, and don't ever deviate from that. And, because eventually, like the interview we have with Coach Lambert, you set the expectations, and don't ever deviate from that. The expectations are what they are, and, the kids are either going to live up to that or they're not. And, but be true to yourself.
Yeah.
Be who you are. And don't ever let anybody talk you into being something you're not.
Well, and I think that goes to the same thing we try to tell the girls too. Don't go out there and be who you're not.
Right.
As a coach, and I agree with you, we only can be who we are, and our girls can only be who they are. We can't do anything. We don't have, it's not like we're looking out there and we're looking down the bench and we got 6'6" players that we can bring in, or we gotta use the tools that we've been given, and we try to keep those tools sharp and that they're comfortable in the uncomfortable, and get out there and mix it up. And, sometimes the scoreboard doesn't show the wins that are happening on the floor. And maybe a girl that never boxed out before started boxing out. Maybe a girl who keeps throwing over the top starts bounce passing. And so you start counting different wins, because those type of things will get us to the numerical wins as far as the score at the end. But it takes some momentum getting there, and, sometimes people are like, man, you're 0-2 right now. We are. It's not how we start, it's how we finish.
Right.
And so we have a finish line. We have a goal as a team. We have a goal. We want to compete every game. We want to win every game. Don't get me wrong on that. But also we're working individually. We're working as a team as well. How do we get this girl to understand what her role is and do the best that she can? Because maybe we have Presley Messer's a great example of this. She is probably our number one defender. And she can get our girls very excited just by her steals. I don't expect her to go out there and score every single time she gets the ball. I do expect her to be on the floor, giving it everything she has defensively. And when she does that, that helps us run smoothly, because she did her role, and then we can get it down the floor and everybody else can do their role as well. And so, it's not always like, okay, we lost this game. Okay, yes, we did, but there are wins on the floor that are helping us so we finish well.
Well, Coach, we're excited. We're excited to see the Lady Redskins out on the court again. Man, it's so much fun this time of year, and I appreciate you coming in and talking a little introductory about this Knox Lady Redskin team for this season.
Yeah, we're excited. I'm hoping people will be surprised as they watch us from the beginning as we go through the season, different things that we're trying to do. We have some girls that have some speed, and once they understand our offense and once they kind of understand placement and different things, I think we're going to be an exciting team to watch. And I pray that as teams come in that they're like, oh man, we may be able to compete with Redskins, but I'm concerned about speed. I'm concerned about their toughness. I'm concerned that they just never quit. That I think it was Mike Tyson said everybody something until you get punched in the face.
Yeah, everybody has a plan until they get punched in the face.
Yeah, and so we're hoping, not literally, but we're hoping that when teams come on the floor, that we can be aggressive enough that other teams like, man, they make us nervous. So I'll make sure that's clear there. So
but no fights are breaking out.
Not coaching that. Not coaching that. So,
Coach, internally.
Yes.
Internally, that internal fire.
And I want my girls to approach every game. Rensselaer's going to be a tough game, but I want us to approach every game like, you know what, we can win this because of who we are. We don't have to go out there and be like Coach here said, we don't have to be someone else. Just be us. Just be comfortable in our own skin. Get out there and do it. And so that's what we're going to do.
Well, Coach, we're excited. We'll talk to you soon. I appreciate you coming in and chatting about the Lady Redskins.
Hey, thank you for the opportunity. Appreciate it, guys.
Of course. That is head coach of the Knox Lady Redskins girls basketball team, James Adcock, here on the Saturday Sports Line. We are going to the Where Are They Now segment with Harold Welter. You know him well. Don't go anywhere.
Rolls to the near sideline, out to his right, looking to throw, fires to the end zone. It's intercepted by Miles McLaughlin, and he'll slide in the end zone.
Big stop. That ball went through two Knox defenders, the receiver for Mishawaka Marion, and then into the hands of Miles McLaughlin.
You got a fast car. I got a plan to get us out of here. Been working at the convenience store. Managed to save just a little bit of money. Won't have to drive too far. Just across the border and into the city. You and I can go.
Stay tuned for more sports talk with Mitch Columbi and Chris McGowan on the longest running high school sports show in Indiana, the Saturday Sports Line.
It's time now for Where Are They Now? A look back at more than a half century of local high school sports coverage on Kankakee Valley Broadcasting's WKVI. Today's program is brought to you by Osborne's Mini Mart in Knox. Now let's meet one of the local high school sports figures from more than 50 years of WKVI sports and find out where are they now?
Well, as we look back on more than 50 years of broadcasting high school sports in the Kankakee Valley here on WKVI, our guest is Bryan Heimlich, a graduate of North White High School, but we want to talk to him about his years as a coach at West Central High School, and we call this segment Where Are You Now? And Where are you now, Bryan, and what are you doing?
Well, I'm at North White teaching. I teach Algebra 2, and then I'm coaching girls basketball. So I live just outside the Monon town. I live out in the country there, and I've lived there for 20 plus years, and even when I was teaching up at West Central and coaching.
Well, you taught and coached at West Central for about 10 years, the head boys basketball coach, and had some success there, won a couple of sectional championships, a couple of conference championships. And going back over all of those years ago, Bryan, what's the most memorable game that you coached in at West Central?
Well, I would have to say probably the Caston game. That first year we won a sectional when, we were behind most of the game, and Clint Lehman hit a buzzer beater and on a Friday night and sent us into the championship on that Saturday, and then we were able to, win it against Pioneer. But I think that was probably the one that I remember the most. My wife will tell you that I remember every one of them because I talk about all of them and can recall pretty much most games that I'd go back to. But that one really sticks out in my mind, and it was a very memorable game.
And you ended up being the regional runners-up that year as well, as I remember.
Yeah, we because I think we went and we beat Argus in the morning game, and then lost to Fort Wayne Blackhawk in a very close game. We were behind double digits and cut it. I mean, we actually tied it, and then they hit a shot with about 3-4 seconds left to go up by 2, and they ended up being state runners up that year. But yeah, it was a very memorable season for my first year there.
Yeah, and then you ended up winning the sectional the next year as well. Won a couple of those Midwest Conference championships along the way. And you had a run of some pretty good athletes there at West Central, didn't you?
Yes, we did. I mean, going back to it, I mean, first of all, I had a couple of great administrators and a coach that I was able to coach under as a JV coach to learn from first, which was Chuck Evans. And, I owe a lot to him for my career, first of all. And then Don Street was the principal at the time. And so, I got to learn a lot. Those two, they had been around the basketball for a long time. So I got to learn a lot from them as far as the coaching high school basketball. But then, we were fortunate to have a lot of, very, very good athletes come through in that whole time period. And, you can't do it without the athletes. And not only that, they were great students. They were hard workers, great parents to work with. And they just, what you want as a coach, we had a lot of kids that came through there, and they're doing great things now too. So. Well, very memorable time.
After 10 years of coaching the boys there at West Central, you leave and go home to North White. But did you intend to get into coaching girls at North White, or was that something that just happened?
No, it couldn't. My last year at West Central, I had two daughters, and my oldest was in 7th grade, and they were both. They both went to North White, and I missed like 5 of her junior high games that year just because we had stuff going on, and I finally told my wife, I said, I don't want to miss her stuff, so I'm just going to give up coaching. And I didn't really intend to leave West Central at that time, but then North White had a math position come open, and so I took that, and I actually didn't coach for a year, and then they had asked me to, if I was interested in taking over the varsity girls position. And at that time, my oldest daughter, Macy, was going to be a freshman, and so I decided to do it, and and now I'm still in it. We had some, great girls come through there at the time. And then, what really, I talk about, the coaches, Coach Tyson Mellon coached with me at West Central. He was a great assistant at West Central. But then when I got to the girls, Teresa McIntyre, who was, a tremendous volleyball coach, at North White for a number of years, and then she also was an assistant girls basketball coach for a number of years. I asked her to come out of retirement and help me with the girls, and it was probably the best decision I ever made because, I mean, she had obviously been around girls for that long, and I don't think that I probably would have had the success that I did if I didn't have her on board. And just to deal, girls are different than boys. I mean, there's a lot of other things that go on, but as far as coaching basketball, it's the same thing. But the girls just deal with things differently, and she was able to kind of navigate me through those types of things. And we were able to have a lot of success, and I'm still doing it. 11, 12 years later. So.
And you've had a lot of success there, and you talk about coaching girls and coaching boys, and there are obviously some differences there. But I remember what old Coach Jerry Hoover told me one time. The first time I saw him coaching girls, I said, my sportscasting career is complete seeing Jerry Hoover coach girls. And he looked at me and he said, "Son, coaching is coaching."
Yeah, and that's what I'm talking about, coaching. I mean, just going out and coaching the game, that's pretty much the same thing. It's just, like I said, girls, they just sometimes are a little more emotional than the guys are. I think sometimes boys sometimes think they know a little bit more than they do too. But other than that, coaching is coaching, and it's been fun to do it for this many years.
You're in your 11th year there coaching the girls at North White. You've had some real success there, 5 sectional championships, a regional championship, some conference championships. Let me ask you the same question I asked you about coaching at West Central. Out of all those previous 10 years, what's the one game that stands out more than any other there at North White?
Man, that one's a little tougher, but I'm probably going to have to go back to the very first one that we won. That was a championship of that year in the sectional. We were pretty young that year. We did have 3 seniors, but our core group was actually my daughter was a freshman, and we had Aubrey Minix, who was a sophomore, and those actually right now are our 2 leading scorers in school history. But early on in that year, I think we were at 3-6 at one point. West Central had beat us by 18, and then we played them in the championship game and beat them in overtime. And it was just it was one of those games we led most of the game, and then they came back and tied it, and then overtime was close, and it was just a dramatic win and able to pull it out. But I mean, we've had some good ones here, with the girls as well. But I would say that one was probably one of the most memorable ones.
We're talking with Bryan Heimlich, a graduate of North White High School, here on our Where Are They Now segment, and we'll continue our conversation after this time out.
Need a game plan that has your day covered from tip-off to the buzzer? Osborne's Mini Mart in Knox has you covered. Whether you like to start out with a caffeinated full-court press or control the tempo with a Subway breakfast flatbread, Osborne's Mini Mart has what you need. Don't get trapped in the corner with an empty stomach. Call a quick timeout and get 2 hot dogs. Visit Osborne's Mini Mart in Knox at the corner of US 35 and Highway 8 East to guarantee you win the day.
Our guest is Bryan Heimlich, a graduate of North White High School who had a lot of success coaching boys basketball at West Central and has now had a lot of success coaching girls basketball at his alma mater, North White. Let me ask you this, Bryan, what do high school athletes gain that can help them in life by playing high school sports?
I mean, I believe there's a number of things. I mean, we talk to them all the time about just trying to be good citizens. But I mean, on the court, we talk about. I mean, we're a family. I mean, we spend so much time together, working hard, and in practice and trying to. We talk about adversity. I mean, adversity in a basketball setting is obviously different than life, but I mean, it still teaches you that. Sometimes you've got to go past that and then just move on to the next thing. Sometimes you can't change things that happened in the past. So you just got to look forward and just keep moving forward. And you can't dwell on those things. So, I mean, that's one aspect that I think that we try to try to instill in them. And then just being, good students in the classroom, because you want to, obviously be successful in life. And, being students doesn't always mean that you're going to, whatever you go into, you're going to have to work hard. You have to show up on time. You're going to have to get along with people that sometimes you may not get along with. I mean, that's something we always talk about in as far as our team is, there's going to be players or teammates that you don't get along with, but when we're out here on the court, you're getting along with them. And I think when you go into a job, it's going to be the same way. I mean, you're going to have people that you don't get along with, but you're still trying to work towards the same cause wherever you may be. And so, I mean, there's a lot of things that I think that the high school sports, that really helps kids move on to that, as they go on and later in life. And then, the other thing nowadays, just sportsmanship is a huge thing, just being positive towards everybody. I mean, your teammates, your coaches, the referees, and it's become so big, and there's so much negativity at times that we really try to instill that we want to always be positive with everything we do.
I was going to say, and if you can help young people be positive in today's world, that in itself is a great accomplishment right there.
Yeah, I mean it is, and even now, I mean some of them get so hard on themselves. Even just, I mean we're just like, you're going to make mistakes. You go past it. It's fine to make mistakes, and I think it's different from. When I first started coaching, there was, the social media thing wasn't even as big, obviously, as it is now. And they see so much more and that you wouldn't have seen back then. And so it's, sometimes they see things that probably aren't as good as they perceive them to be, through social media and things like that. So it makes it a little harder. And so that's the things that we just try to get across, and, hopefully they take some of that and it sticks with them, and as they go on into their lives and and families and things.
Bryan, thanks so much for taking time and reminiscing with us over about some really exciting times in local high school basketball. And you and I had a lot of conversations in those 10 years you were at West Central. It was a fun time with some really good kids, as you pointed out. So we appreciate you taking time, and we really appreciate you keeping involved in coaching and being positive influence on those young people down there at North White.
Thank you. I always appreciate it. We got to, when you were able to do our games and do that, and all the coverage that you give the kids and stuff throughout the year. So appreciate that. Thank you, though.
Our guest here on the Saturday Sports Line has been Bryan Heimlich, a graduate of North White High School who did a lot of coaching at West Central and now still coaching at North White. Join us again next week here on the Saturday Sports Line for Where Are They Now?
Where Are They Now? A look back at more than a half century of high school sports coverage on WKVI has been brought to you by Osborne's Mini Mart in Knox.
Join us each Saturday morning on WKVI for the Saturday Sports Line and worldwide on WKVI.com.
Time now for our Tyler Roth WKVI Athlete of the Week, given in memory of Tyler Roth, a 2001 graduate of Winnemac High School who died as a result of an auto accident 1 week after his high school graduation. His legacy of hard work, outstanding citizenship, artistic success, and super athletic performance lives on with this award given every week to outstanding student athletes from the 8 schools in the Kankakee Valley. Today's award is brought to you by Web Printing and JT Shirt Shack in Winnemac, and we'll tell you who's earned the Tyler Roth WKVI Athlete of the Week after this word from Web Printing.
Web Printing and JT Shirt Shack and signs of all kinds in Winnemac is where all of your printing needs can be met. Whether it's paper, garments, or signs, Web Printing is your full-service printing solution. So if you're in need of embroidered or screen-printed garments, tickets or programs for your event, or documents for your business, Web Printing and JT Shirt Shack is the place to go. For the quickest service, best prices, and best quality, it's Web Printing and JT Shirt Shack in Winnemac.
Our Tyler Roth WKVI Athlete of the Week for this week is Jesiah McDaniel, a member of the football team at North Judson-San Pierre High School. Jesiah is the starting quarterback on this amazing North Judson-San Pierre Blue Jay football team. While he has been an Athlete of the Week before, this time around, it's because he had 4 interceptions in the semifinal round against Culver and 3 total touchdowns. He's also on the defense as a defensive back as well. Jesiah is the son of Teresa and Devin McDaniel, as we congratulate Jesiah McDaniel, our Tyler Roth WKVI Athlete of the Week. Jesiah will receive a certificate, a history of the award, and a t-shirt commemorating his achievement, and will also be a future guest on the Saturday Sports Line. He will be eligible for our Tyler Roth WKVI Athlete of the Year award later this spring, which carries with it a plaque and a college scholarship, compliments of WKVI and the family of Tyler Roth. The Tyler Roth WKVI Athlete of the Week is brought to you by Web Printing and JT Shirt Shack in Winnemac. I'll make sure to get with Mr. McDaniel this week, as that is another Saturday Sports Line down and in the books. Hey, basketball season is upon us. We are working on our schedule. Stay tuned to the next week or so. We are hoping to bring that out on all of our social media sites, as I do remind you to follow us on Instagram at WKVI Sports, on X at KVB Sports, and on Facebook at Sports to the Max. That's for all Kankakee Valley Broadcasting sports content. I'm going to get on out of here. You enjoy the rest of your weekend. Until next week, I'm Mitch Columbi. The tradition continues.
From the Pulaski Memorial Hospital studios of Kankakee Valley Broadcasting's WKVI, you've been listening to the Saturday Sports Line with Sports Director Mitch Columbi and Sports Analyst Chris McGowan.